I want to open with something that took me the better part of 10 years to work out. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That jug of drain cleaner under your kitchen sink is not failing you. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. Now hold on before you argue with me. I am not saying there are villains in a back room somewhere. I am saying that a product which opens your drain for 3 weeks and then lets it close back up is a far better business than a product that fixes it and goes away. One of those you buy once, the other one you buy 4 times a year for the rest of your life, and you never once stop to ask why it is always the same drain. I have been in residential plumbing right around 30 years. My Uncle Ray put a wrench in my hand when I was 15, and I have been under sinks ever since. And I will tell you, the most common thing I find in a slow kitchen drain is not hair, and it is not grease. It is the leftovers of the last 3 bottles somebody poured down there trying to fix it. So today, I am making you a straight swap. I want to take that $8 jug out of your hand and put a $1 brown bottle in it instead. 3% hydrogen peroxide, the same stuff your mother dabbed on your skinned knee. It sits on the shelf at every pharmacy and dollar store in this country, and used right on the right problem, it keeps your drains running better than the caustic ever did without chewing on your pipes. 14 points today. The first 5 are about what the old stuff is actually doing down in that pipe, and point 5 is the one that ought to make you a little angry, because it is not even about you. Stay with me. Tip 1. Number 1. Know exactly what you are buying, because the label could not be plainer. You want 3% hydrogen peroxide. 3%. That number is printed right on the front, and it is the only number you want. It comes in a brown plastic bottle, 16 ounces or 32, and it lives in the first aid aisle right next to the rubbing alcohol. Pharmacy, grocery store, dollar store, they all stock it. I pay about $1 for the small one and $1.50 for the big one. And here is the part people skip. That brown bottle is not a design choice. Hydrogen peroxide is plain water with 1 extra oxygen atom hung on it, and that extra atom is looking for any excuse to leave. Light gives it 1. So the maker puts it in brown plastic to keep the light out, and that bottle is doing real work right up until you set it on a sunny windowsill and forget about it. Now you are probably thinking, if it is that mild, how is it supposed to beat the industrial stuff? Fair question. Let me tell you what the industrial stuff is really doing first. Tip 2, number 2. Understand what a caustic drain cleaner actually does once it hits the water in your trap. The main ingredient in most of them is lye, sodium hydroxide. It is the same chemical that makes oven cleaner work, and it is a strong base, which is just a word for the opposite end of the scale from acid. Some of the gel versions carry little flakes of aluminum in there too, and that is not filler. When lye meets aluminum in water, it reacts and throws off heat and hydrogen gas. That is on purpose. The heat thins out grease so the lye can chew through it faster, and the bubbling gives you that gurgle that makes you feel like something is happening. And something is happening. Lye turns fat into soap. That is not a figure of speech. That is literally how soap has been made for a few hundred years. Fat plus lye equals soap. So the grease in your line gets softened, converted, and washed on down. Sounds reasonable so far. So what is my problem with it? The heat. Tip 3, number 3. The heat is what does the damage, and almost nobody connects those two things. Most drain lines in houses built since the 70s are PVC or ABS, that white or black plastic pipe. Plastic pipe is rated for a certain temperature, and it is lower than people assume. PVC starts going soft well under boiling. And a caustic cleaner sitting down in the low spot of your P-trap, cooking, is not a quick pass. That heat sits against the same inch of plastic for 20 minutes, and against the glued joints right along with it. What I see on the truck is warped slip joints under the sink. The trap arm goes slightly out of round. The plastic slip nut will not seal anymore, no matter how you snug it. And now you have got a drip you did not have before. On the old galvanized and cast iron, I see the opposite problem, which is lye scouring off rust scale and opening pinholes that the corrosion had been plugging for years. Ask me how I know. I have replaced more trap assemblies caused by drain cleaner than by age. All right, but suppose it works and the drain opens. No harm done then, right? Not quite. Tip 4. Number 4. Understand what it leaves behind when it does not work, because 9 times out of 10 with a truly plugged line, it does not. The cleaner goes down, hits standing water, gets watered down, and stalls out on top of the clog. Now you have got a trap full of hot caustic water sitting on a plug that never moved an inch. And here is what happens to that plug. Remember the soap reaction. In a full blockage, there is no water flow to carry that softened mess away, so it cools right there and it sets up. I have pulled traps and found something with the consistency of hard candle wax, with hair set in it, like rebar. That was softer before somebody poured a jug on it, so the cleaner did not just fail. It took a clog I could have pulled out with a $2 plastic zip tool in about 90 seconds and turned it into a job that needs the trap off and a bucket underneath. That is the money part of it. The next one is the part that is not about money at all. Tip 5. Number 5. Think about the next person who has to open that drain, because that person is probably you. When a caustic cleaner stalls out, that trap and that line are holding standing lye water. It looks like ordinary gray dishwater. It gives you no warning whatsoever. And the very next move, the natural move, is to grab a plunger, or pull the trap, or run a small cable down there. Plunge it, and you push caustic water back up through the basket and over the rim. Pull the trap, and it runs down your forearm. Run a cable, and it slings off the end and goes wherever it wants, including your face. Lye does not sting on contact the way an acid does. It feels slick and soapy for a good while. By the time it starts to burn, you already have a real injury, and eyes are the worst of it. This is why every plumber worth his boots asks you at the door what you poured down there. He's not judging you. He's deciding whether to put a face shield on. Between you and me, that alone was enough for me to quit the stuff. Quick word while the peroxide is on your mind. I wrote a book called 101 Ways to Unclog Any Drain, and most of those fixes run on cheap cabinet stuff just like this one. The link sits in the description, or scan the code on your screen. Subscribe to the Vintage Pipe Fitter too, for more old-school plumbing that saves you real money every week. Tip 6. Number 6. Here is the business model in one sentence, and then we are done talking about the old way. A caustic cleaner does not clean the pipe. It burns a channel through the middle of the clog. That is the whole trick. It opens a hole the size of a pencil. Water starts going through. You hear that glorious slurp, and you declare victory. But the walls of that pipe are still coated with the same greasy film they had an hour ago. In some spots, it is thicker now because you softened it and let it slump back down. So the film keeps catching. Coffee grounds, hair, a little rice. 3 weeks, maybe 6, and that pencil hole closes right back up. You buy another jug. And you think the problem is your drain. The problem is that nobody ever cleaned the walls. That right there is what the brown bottle is actually for. Tip 7. Number 7. What 3% hydrogen peroxide does instead, and why it goes after those walls. Peroxide is an oxidizer. All that means is it hands off that spare oxygen atom to whatever organic gunk it touches and breaks it apart. And near everything lining a household drain is organic. Grease, food, soap, scum, hair, and the big one, biofilm. Biofilm is the slime layer, a living mat of bacteria that sets up shop on the pipe wall and holds everything else in place. It is the glue. Caustic cleaners blow straight past it. Peroxide sits in it and takes it apart. And you can see the second thing it does. Pour it on gunk, and it foams up white. That foam is oxygen coming out of solution. Thousands of little bubbles forming under the film and lifting it off the wall. It is a gentle scrub in a place no brush of yours will ever reach. Slow work compared to lie, but it is working on the right surface. Tip 8, number 8. It kills the smell while it is at it, and that matters more than it sounds like it does. That sour, swampy smell out of a kitchen sink or a laundry drain is not sewer gas, 9 times out of 10. Sewer gas smells like sewer. This is different, sweeter and nastier at once. That is the biofilm, the bacteria in that slime layer giving off gas while they work on the grease. So air freshener does nothing. Bleach knocks it back a day because it kills the surface bacteria and leaves the mat sitting there to repopulate by the weekend. Peroxide takes the mat apart, and when the mat goes, the smell goes and stays gone as long as you keep up the routine. If your drain runs just fine, but it smells, this is your fix. That is the whole job. Tip 9, number 9. It is safe for a septic system and safe for a well. And if you are on either one, this is the point that ought to sell you. Here is what makes peroxide different. When it is done reacting, it becomes 2 things: water and oxygen. No residue, no salt load, no lye heading out to your tank. That matters, because a septic tank is a working colony of bacteria you depend on every day. Every jug of caustic cleaner you send out there kills off a share of it, and a weak colony stops digesting properly and starts pushing solids out to the field. A drain field is a $5,000 to $15,000 problem. That is not a scare number. That is the going rate. A cup or two of 3% peroxide, watered down by everything else going down that line, will not dent it. Tip 10. Number 10. Here is the actual routine, and this is the one to write down. Do it at night, after the last dish is done, when nobody will run water for 6 or 8 hours. That dwell time is the whole ball game. Start dry. Let the sink drain all the way down, because you do not want peroxide going into a bowl of standing water. Dilution is what beats it. Pour 1 to 2 cups down each drain you care about. 1 cup for a bathroom sink, 2 for a kitchen sink or a tub. Straight out of the bottle. No mixing, no measuring cup needed. A coffee mug runs about 8 ounces. Then walk away. Do not chase it with water. Do not run the disposal. Let it lie down in that trap all night and work. In the morning, flush it with hot water from the tap. Hot, not boiling. Run the hot side 30 to 60 seconds. And no, do not put a kettle to it. That is how people warp plastic traps on frequency. If a drain is slow or smelling, treat it once a week for 3 weeks, and you will feel the difference. Once it behaves, once a month is plenty. The kitchen sink and the laundry standpipe earn it every month. Tip 11, number 11. Now the honest part, because the title on this video makes a promise, and I owe you the fine print. Hydrogen peroxide is maintenance. It is for a drain that runs slow, a drain that smells, and a drain you want to keep from ever plugging. It is not a clog buster. If your sink is holding 4 inches of standing water right now, peroxide is not opening it tonight, and I will not tell you otherwise. A full blockage is mechanical. You get it out with your hands. Plunger first, overflow taped off, other basin blocked if it is a double sink. Then a $2 plastic zip tool down the drain for hair. Then pull the P-trap with a bucket under it, because that is where the clog sits most of the time. But listen, that is not a strike against peroxide, because the caustic stuff fails on a full blockage too. It just fails while leaving a burn hazard and a hardened plug behind. Peroxide keeps you from ever getting there. And I will say this one plain. If it is your main line backing up, more than one fixture going down at once, water showing at a floor drain, that is a licensed drain man with a real machine. Not a bottle of anything, and not a job for you and me. Know where your line is. Tip 12, number 12. Store it right, or none of the above happens for you. I said that extra oxygen atom wants out. 3 things pull it out: light, heat, and an open cap. Everyone turns your peroxide into plain water on the shelf, and plain water down a drain does nothing. So leave it in the brown bottle it came in. Do not pour it off into a clear spray bottle, and do not park it on the windowsill above the kitchen sink where it is warm and bright, which is precisely where I keep finding it. Under the sink or in a cabinet is fine. Cap on tight, and do not stock up on it. Buy the small bottle, use the small bottle, buy another one. It is $1. Here is the fizz test, and it takes 5 seconds. Put a splash on a dirty spot in the sink or on a cut potato. Live peroxide foams up white right away. If you get nothing, that bottle is dead, and the method did not fail you. The bottle did. Tip 13, number 13. 3 hard no's, and I mean hard. First, do not mix peroxide and vinegar in the pipe. You will find people telling you to layer them for extra punch. What you make is peracetic acid, a real industrial chemical with real fumes, not a kitchen trick. It irritates lungs and eyes. No upside to it. One or the other, never both. Second, do not pour peroxide down a drain you just bleached. Not the same day if you can help it. Bleach and peroxide react with each other, and past the safety of it you have wasted both bottles. Run water through it, good, and give it a day. Third, 3% only. You will see 35% food-grade peroxide sold online. That is an industrial oxidizer. It burns skin white on contact, takes the color out of anything it splashes, and is a fire hazard around rags and sawdust. No benefit down a drain is worth any of that. The brown bottle from the pharmacy is the right tool. Leave the strong stuff to people with the gear for it. Tip 14, number 14. Let us do the arithmetic because it is not close. Caustic drain cleaner runs $10 to $15 a jug now. A household with a slow kitchen sink buys 3 or 4 a year, so call it $45, and you have not fixed one thing. You are renting an open drain by the month. Peroxide is $1. 2 for the big bottle. Treat the kitchen, both bathrooms, and the laundry once a month, and one 32-ounce bottle carries you a couple of months. Call it $15 a year, and I am rounding up. Then the real number. A drain call in most of the country runs $150 to $250 for a sink line, and up from there. Head off one call a year, and the peroxide paid for itself 10 times over. Cheap, boring, and it works. Uncle Ray never bought a jug of drain cleaner in his life. End CTA. Before you go, that book, 101 Ways to Unclog. Any drain walks every drain in the house, kitchen, and disposal. Tub, shower, toilet, laundry, floor drains, out to the main. Every clog you head off is a $150 to $400 call you never place. Link is in the description. And subscribe to the Vintage Pipe Fitter, where old trade tricks keep your money in your pocket. Bonus tip stinger. Bonus tip, and this one is the reason your bathroom sink still smells after you treat it. Go look at your bathroom sink basin. Up near the top, under the rim, there is a little hole or a slot. That is the overflow. It keeps the sink from flooding if the stopper is closed and the tap gets left running. It drains through a hidden channel, cast into the sink body, and ties back into the drain below the strainer. Nobody ever cleans it. Water almost never moves through it, so it grows the thickest, blackest biofilm in the house. You can pour peroxide down that drain all week and never touch it, and it will keep reseeding the drain and keep on smelling. So treat it directly. Get a small funnel, or take the cap off a water bottle and use that. Pour a quarter cup of peroxide straight into the overflow hole and let it sit overnight with everything else. Do that one time and tell me your bathroom does not smell different in the morning. That is the swap. $1, one brown bottle, done at night while you sleep. Go look under your sink right now. If there is a jug of the caustic stuff under there, take it to household hazardous waste. Do not pour it out to empty it. I will see you on the next one.